Hello, hi, I'm back on one of my previous projects, the active loop antenna. And as you can hear, we might be able to hear, it's blowing a bloody gale up here today, as it has been for over a week, on and off. That's one of my concerns, is the way I've got it mounted, the loop mounted on the box. It's a pretty weak joint there, and if it gets flexed a hell of a lot as it does, sooner or later that's just going to snap. And what I'm planning to do is put some aluminium bar instead of this down piece. A half-inch square bar will be bolted onto the side of the box on both sides, and then mount the actual loop into the bar and fix it in solidly. So I'll take you back to the workshop. I'll show you in more detail what I'm trying to do. Strangely enough, this is one of my most popular videos. It's got now over 400 views, the active receiving loop. And there goes the wind again. We're so exposed here. It comes up the Bristol Channel, and as we're quite high up, it's everything gets blown around like hell. Anyway, back to the workshop. Okay, this is the aluminium bar I'm proposing to use on the loop, and it's weird when you're on eBay buying stuff like this. It's half-inch square aluminium bar, or aluminum to our American friends, and it's measured in imperial for its diameter, but you have to buy it in millimeter lengths, and this is 300 millimeter lengths. But that's fine, that's the way it is in this strange country. But most of the time I like working in metric because of the accuracy you can get. And it makes sense to work in base 10. But when it comes to things like height, I'm 5'8". I wouldn't have a bloody clue what that was in metric. So anyway, I'm bilingual. I can do both metric, imperial, whatever. So what I'm planning to do is this offcut I've got here. This offcut of aluminium, which I use for the loop, is 9.5 millimeter diameter tube. So I'm going to have to drill a 9.5 millimeter hole through the bar, which is no problem. But it needs strengthening, this tube, because it's going to get compressed when I screw it up into the bar. So I'm going to stick this, found this piece of brass rod, which is exactly 8 millimeter diameter. So my intention is to stick that down there about an inch. Now the problem being that the insider dimensions of this tube is 7.5. So I've got to drill away 0.5 millimeter, which I don't think is going to weaken it too badly. So I need to use a 8 millimeter drill, which I've got. So that's what I'm going to do next. So that will be fun. Okay, I've got the tube in the vise and 8mm drill. I'm going to try and drill this while on camera, which is difficult. And okay, I've drilled that down to a depth of about an inch, and of course I am weakening the aluminium a bit by reducing its internal dimensions, but or increasing its internal dimensions, but I think it'll be alright. It's only 0.5 millimeter I was taking off, and then the brass bar shoves down in there, and yeah, about an inch, you see, about an inch. So that's the idea, and that'll give it much more strength when it's actually goes through the middle of this bar, and its clamps I use, hang on a minute, right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a 9.5mm screw drill through that to make it big enough to go over this piece, and when that's in position I will lock it in place using screws which will go through from the top to the bottom, right through this bar, then through the aluminium or aluminum, and then through the brass, and then out the other side. And I'm using these hex-headed screws, it's the only one I could find, 4mm should be adequate. And I found some lock nuts, which is always a bonus, so it won't come undone. Anyway, the next stage I think is to this is just a test, by the way, but I think it'll be okay. I'm just going to drill now the 9.5mm hole in the bar, so I'll do that next. Okay, I'm got in the bar in the drill vise, and I'm just going to do a little pilot hole to start with, about 4mm. So just do that, 4mm diameter roughly. Okay, that just gives it a chance for the bigger drill to lock into that position. Okay, ready with the 9mm drill now. Probably about halfway through. Afraid the camera's shaking a bit because it's mounted on my main bench on the tripod, so the drill's shaking everything. Not the tripod, the bloody angle point arm, that's what I meant to say. Not far to go. Oh, I can feel it. Yeah, it's nearly through. Should be it. Right, it's not bad. Not bad. Hang on, I'll get back to the main bench. Yeah, okay, well it's pretty good by the looks of it. Its camera seems to have problems focusing on this silvery stuff, but next thing to do is sort of have a look, see if the yeah, the tube goes through. Yeah, it's a bit dodgy at the moment. I have to do some bit of filing. Okay, it's just a matter of getting a few burrs off the drill hole, and that fits through fine. It's doesn't seem to want to go all the way through, but that's not really a problem, as it will be flush with that if you imagine the loops coming out like that, or that would make a better description with the loop area coming like that. So yeah, that's fine. And of course this bit goes in here, if I can get it to go in. Hang on a minute. That goes in there like that, and it's cut, the brass is cut off about there, flush of course, and then put the screw through, bolt through there and whatever. So next bit is to chop the bar up, chop up the bar into equal lengths, because I want 2 for this project, so I might want 2 more for any other loops I might make. And yeah, get the old aerial loop down and proceed from there. Then I'll have to drill a couple of mounting holes that go on the box. They've got to be pretty accurately spaced. I think I've decided to have it 75 millimeters, 3 inches total length, because I've got 300 millimeters. That allows me to make 4 of these if I ever needed to. So on to the next one. Well, I was drilling the mounting holes where the screws hold it onto the box. What did I bloody do? I've drilled them in the wrong places, haven't I? They should be on this side. It really annoys me when I do things like that, because the box is basically here and the loop goes up like that, and I've gone and drilled the bloody holes on the wrong side, which is frustrating. I could make a whole new piece, but I think what I do is just drill through. That's on the right side. It won't matter too much about those holes there. Just makes it look a bit amateurish, if that's the right word. But I'm sure it'll be fine. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, then I've drilled the holes in the right positions this time, and I've filled the old holes up with hot glue, so that should stop any water getting in there. And because the old bolts screws are just too short to go through the all the way through the bar and into the through the box, I've had to use my only 4 hex bolts, which are the right length and go through like that. So that means I only had 4 left, so it means I can't use them on the actual to go through the actual loop as I'd planned to do. So in the meantime, until I get some more, I'll just use ordinary 4mm screws and nylock nuts, and I'll order some more hex bolts, which will be here in a few days' time, but I can still finish it off for the time being and get the loop back up and working. So the next thing to do is this is the old loop, with the old bent pieces which attach to the box. Next thing I've got to do is cut this off about there, and then I've made up some brass bits about 1 inch long, and they will go inside. But first of all, I've got to cut it off and drill it with a 7.5mm drill. No, 8mm drill, sorry. So I'll just try and do that. Okay, that's done, and I have to stick a 7.5mm drill down that to just to open it up, make sure it's all straight, which it is. So that's fine. And now I need to drill it. Sorry, drill it with 8mm. So I'll just get my 8mm drill, and I left a bit of tape on it to mark it at roughly. Have a look, make sure it's the same length. Actually, it's quite a bit longer. So I'm going to move that. Sorry, you can't see. I'm going to have to get some more tape. And measure that. So it's more or less exactly 1 inch. That's the depth I want to drill into the tube. Right, get that in the chuck. I'll do this fairly carefully. I don't want to damage the aluminium. Okay. Now, in theory, it should go in there, which it does. Don't know if you can see it. I might try zooming. Right, so the brass bit goes in there, and could hammer it in slightly. That's it. It's exactly flush then with the end of the aluminium. So that needs a bit of a file and a clean up. And then I'll do this other end off camera, because no point doing it twice on camera. Okay, I've done the other one. Sorry, I've got terrible guitar. I've done all my life. Anyway, I've done both of them now and put those on to see if they fit okay. Those aluminium blocks, and the hard bit is now going to be drilling through the block to put the bolt through, or not that bolt but this temporary one. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do it in my workshop, because the loop has to be completely flat in order to get everything aligned properly, and it's massive. It's 1.2 meter diameter loop. It certainly won't go on the bench stably, so I might have to do that in the garage, on the garage floor, where I can keep it perfectly flat, and then come back and show you the result. Okay, I managed to drill it, and had to go back to using the hex head bolts, so that means I haven't got enough now, so I'll have to use temporarily countersunk bolts to put it into the to fix this piece onto the box. And yeah, I had to use hex heads because that's the only way I could get it really tight. It needed to be tight to sort of stop it wobbling around. That's the other one. So I guess the next thing to do is to attach it back to the box, which might be possible to do on camera. Everything has to be done upside down. It's because of the way it is. Either that or you do it on the floor, the right way up. It's difficult, very difficult. Okay, I'm finally in position to get this thing back together. Got a piece of self-amalgamating tape between the box and the aluminium bar. That's just to give it some water protection. Now the fiddly bit is getting these bolts through and into the nut. Once you get one bolt started, it's fairly easy, and that one I think is in place now, so I can do the top one, which of course has come out of the piece of tape, but never mind. There's not much length on that one, but it's only temporary till I get another some more hex-headed screws, bolts. Oh God, this is difficult. Maybe I better do the bottom one up first. Now I hold it all tight. Okay, I've got the bottom bolt tightened up, and what's that for? That's for the one. And now I've got to get this nut on the screw. Top screw. This is quite short, this screw. Right. Okay, that's fairly tight. Just tighten up the bottom one. That's that side done. If you want to have another quick look inside of it, that's what it looks like. I'll do the other side off camera. So there it is, all back together, and only just about fits in here because it's so big. So now I can go and install it up the garden again. Okay, here we are up the garden, and it's installed, as you can see, and hopefully it will last a few years without any problems, but maybe not. Anyway, we've got better weather today. The wind has dropped, and we're promised fairly good weather for the next week with warmer and drier weather, and unfortunately that means I'll probably have to do some gardening, which I'm not looking forward to. But anyway, perhaps I ought to go inside and check that it still works. Okay, this is back in my radio room, and this is 80 meters, 3.755 regular net at 1 o'clock in the afternoons, and they're, you know, some of the stronger ones are about S9, and on a decent wire aerial that would probably be more like 20 over 9. But the main advantage is the signal to noise is better on a loop. So that's 80 meters. I'll just try some of the frequencies. There won't be anything on 160 this time of day, not till it's dark. So I just go, hang on. That's radio 4 on 198. That's reading 40 over 9. And that is a big signal around here. What else we got? Another French station on 234 kilohertz. That's RTE on 252. Another French station. And that is the MSF time signal on 60 kilohertz. So as you can see, it'll work quite happily down to 60 kilohertz. And that's about the end of it, really. It's performing quite well. Oh, it should do. I mean, I haven't altered anything apart from the mechanical stability of it all. So thanks for watching if you did, and hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.